around with this guy. I mentioned earlier on, you know, the mistake that John Park made against Gary Anderson last week, and that's the first mistake, counting-wise, I've ever seen John Park make. You know, he probably put Eric Bristow up there as the #1 counter, and certainly John Park would be in that top 3.
140.
But as you said, one of the most familiar faces on TV, so all the darting fraternity, and a nice guy as well. You don't hear him complain, well, not that often anyway.
100.
It's funny, no dart player complains when they're playing well and they're winning. It's when they're drifting out of the rankings they tend to think that the rankings are not right. They're only adjusted to have a go at them.
100.
And it will be Mervyn King to face the winner of this match in round 2 tomorrow. Just to let you know the prize money on offer here, we mentioned earlier on it's £20,000 to the winner. Whoever lifts that trophy on Sunday night to become the Austrian Darts Open champion. The runner-up gets 8,000, semi-finalists 4, quarter-finalists 3 grand, the last 16 2,000, the last 32 1,250, and just for getting to this stage, the last 48 is £1,000 in prize money. Well, that's hanging very precariously, but he's staying up there, is Marko.
I can't understand that, to be quite honest.
100.
Because,
John, you require 100.
you know, if he'd have touched that dart, it would have gone. I know he's left the 120, so he didn't want to switch. And I think he threw high just to leave the 120. He had no intentions of going for the treble, which is, you know, kind of sensible
Marko,
thinking.
you require 120.
He's got the Shanghai on the treble 20s now. Treble 20 single double top. Oh, he's hit the treble 5, so now he can't get out. So John Park's going to come back for this 96, and it would be a breaker throw.
80. John, you require 96.
So treble 20 for double 18. He's always been pretty convincing on double 18 as John over the years, but
Marko, you require
he's left
40.
himself double top, and indeed it is double top that the man from Finland needs to go 1-0 up early doors here.
Getting shot on the first leg, Marko Kantele.
Well, I'm very surprised that John Park's second dart was not at the double 18, to be quite honest, because his first dart, you know, laid above the treble, and you can see the way John's darts go in, laying above the treble, kind of hides it a little bit. But he stayed with the treble 20, and now he's got a bit of a job on his hands.
Yes, Marko had to play
140.
3 qualifying matches last night. One of 8 European qualifiers in the draw.
60.
Well, John's certainly got to get the motor running sooner or later. He's not really started this game off very well at all. And of course, you know, someone like John, if he doesn't start off well and his opponent starts to get into him, that will give Marko, you know, confidence, thinking, you know, I've got a chance to beat the big man, the world champion, and he could easily push on here. So John mustn't let him get too far ahead.
92.
Good use of the treble 19, but he is on a bogey number, but he will have a bit of time unless John Park can follow up that treble 20 with another.
137.
We're still going to get 6 darts from here. And I don't understand why he isn't going down for the 19s from here, to be quite honest. And he's going to have to come down there now, surely.
100.
Well, he hasn't, and he's managed to pin that treble 20.
Yes.
And now pressure on John Park.
Marko, you require 69.
So to double his lead here. $54 left, 18 for double 18.
51. John, you require 86.
So a let-off could be said for John Park to bring us all square.
Well, that leaves double 7.
Show
Oh,
the second leg.
a pressure shot from John Park, the big Canadian, and keeps himself in this game. Like I said, the problem is if, you know, people like Kantele get in front of you, they get confident and anything can happen, but it was a great 86 checkout.
100.
The young Welshman Jamie Lewis will be up next on stage, up against Alex Roy. But a long way to go in this one. We've seen a couple of matches go 6-5, a couple of 6-4s, but we always knew that game between Vincent van der Voort and Christian Kiss would be a quicker affair, but Vincent looking in blistering form to see off
80.
his fellow Dutchman 6-2.
Well, the game's kind of waiting for someone to put a little bit of a spurt. It started off
68.
rather slowly, a bit scrappy. And this is where John Park, with his experience, you think, well, he'll find that extra gear sooner than Kantele.
28. $137.
So Park down to a finish first, but albeit a big one.
$63. John, you require 152.
Well, you feel he probably doesn't have to take this out, and won't now, but he only needs to, you know, just 3 pair 20s.
60. Marko, you require
And not really enough.
170.
It just opens the door for Marko Kantele to set it up. Well, he ain't going to take it out, so a bit of a wild dart. Well, he hit 28 earlier on. Now he's hit 26. 26 and 28 in the same leg, making it very easy for John Park at the moment.
Game shot on the third leg. John Park.
No pressure on the shot from John Park. Takes it out in 2 darts. He took out 86 to win the previous leg. He now leads 2 legs to 1, and surely that'll be the trigger
99.
for Park to move on now.
Yes, breaking the throw, and you sense he'd want to try and go up a gear or two and get the job done, and then look forward to a match tomorrow against Mervyn King, and that'll be one of the tomorrow afternoon matches. 8 in the afternoon, 8 in the evening, second round matches, getting underway at 1 PM local time, 12 o'clock if you're watching in the UK, when the 16 top seeds come in to meet the winners of the today's 16 first round matches.
And it'll be a tough game for whoever wins this against Mervyn. Been playing very well the last 6 months.
171.
It's better from John Park. Sets it up pretty good. Now when Park returns, there is the bullseye route with the first dart, but because Kantele is not on a shot, should not use the 25. I think John's experienced enough to go, do you know what, I'll take a straight ton, won't mess about. That's exactly what he's done. So this is good experienced darts from John Park. A lot of players would have still gone for the 25. John Park, no. I'll just want a straight ton. I come back 3 clear darts at double 16 to take a 3-1 lead. You start going for that 25 with the first dart, and all of a sudden you squeeze one outside, and then you're messing around. You open the door.
140.
That's why John Park's been a 3 times world champion. He doesn't make many mistakes.
Well, it was difficult to
109.
see whether that was in, but he has let Marko back in to draw us level at 2 apiece. He's not going to do it now, so double 4 then for Park to establish a bit of daylight between himself and the man from Finland. Double 2. And gets it.
The 4 flag. John Park. This flag is Marko to throw first. Game on.
Well, he did get there in the end, did Park.
Well, that's 3 legs on the trot from John Park.
124.
Puts him well and truly in the driving seat, and just should settle his nerves. And also a thing, when you're starting to drift down the rankings and your form's not what it is, or what it was I should say, you start to get a little bit edgy. Not so much nervous, you know, with your handshakes, but just that edginess of closing games out, you know, instead of it being a straight ton, it's an 85 instead of the 140s, they become tons, and so you're always struggling and you're always giving your opponents chances.
140.
And Keith Deller, former world champion, another darts legend on Twitter. I think he's summing up the views of a lot of people in England at the moment, saying forget about the football, it's all about the darts and the Austrian Open this weekend. Good to know you're watching, Keith.
Yeah, I must admit, we was all watching the football last night. We found a nice little Irish pub with Irish guys serving us, and
Yeah.
watched the big screen, and I have to say we was all disappointed, but that's the way it goes.
135. Marko, you require 140. $124.
Well, that would have been a nice pick-off, and really would have got him right back into this game. As it is, he does have a bit of time to polish off the 16.
96. Marko, you require 16.
With John just letting the 5th leg get away from him a little bit, but all credit to Marko.
Marko Kantele. Looks like it's John to throw first. Game on.
Well, he won't worry too much about that, because as you can see, he steps up to throw first, does Big John. He's done all the hard work. He's broken Kantele's throat.
59. $140.
Yes, it's a big weekend in Austria. Lots going on, including the Formula 1 Grand Prix back in this country for the first time in 11 years, which meant
130.
a lot of the airports and a lot of the flights were busy coming out here this weekend.
And they've got a big international junior weightlifting competition here in Salzburg as well. See a lot of the Welsh lads on the
85.
plane on the way out. Some of them were big guys as well.
Yeah.
I have to say it's a beautiful setting here in Salzburg. First time here for me.
81.
And right at the foot of the Alps, we can see the Alps as far as the eye can see. Beautiful setting.
Yes, a lot of history, a lot of nice architecture in the old town through Salzburg.
100.
The birthplace of Mozart. We walked past the Mozart Museum last night. Lots of connections to the great composer. Even the airport's named after him.
Well, and after we watched the football and a few pints of Guinness, we were nearly Mozart as well.
60.
And not to forget the sound of music. A few of the lads have come out a day or two early and gone on the tours. So they've enjoyed a little trip to Austria. And then John Part, where he was starting to take command of the game, he's just gone off the boil again. And we talk about the players that are on the drift out of the rankings. This is what's happened, is the consistency that they lack, and they let players in. And no matter how good you was or how consistent you was, it doesn't mean to say you're going to be that good now.
Double 18 for 3-3. Oh, that was a whisker away.
You require 100.
So JP needs a ton to restore that two-leg advantage.
Well, that's a great first dart. 2 at tops for Part. Now he's coming down to the 10s. Mega dart here for Part. Oh, what a good shot out. Kantele, you could just see him nodding as John Part put the dart in double 10. How a game can change on one dart. Kantele misses the double 18s. Part hits the double 10s and takes a 2-leg advantage.
120.
And that again is where, as you were saying earlier, the quality and the experience and the knowledge and the know-how of a player to keep cool under pressure and take out the shot just when your opponent looks like they're going to get a foothold in the game, you can step up and turn the screw.
Well, someone like John Part, with all his experience, he has to really pull on that experience of those checkouts, because, you know, he's not got the scoring power that he used to have.
60.
So he's not blitzing the treble 20, plenty of darts at a double over another opponent. He's actually a little bit inferior as what he was, and he needs to take out the shots. He took out the 86 in the first leg when Kantele had darts at a double. And of course, and there we have it. There's the 50%, 4 out of 8. And that's the only reason he's leading, because the scoring is not what he would want it.
82. $140. 81.
So I mentioned Mervyn King awaiting the winner of this one. The winner of the next match on stage, Jamie Lewis against Alex Roy. Phil Taylor
85. Marko, you
will be the opponent. The winner of that one meets tomorrow.
Yeah, Jamie Lewis, as you said, coming up next, one of the up-and-coming youngsters, a good Welsh player. Mum and Dad follow darts. His dad was a very good player himself. And as you said earlier on, he did very well in Gibraltar last year, making the final. Took out a lot of good scalps as well on his weight.
$78. Marko, you require 93.
So this is another chance which again you sense that Marko really has to take to claw his way back into the game. Double 18 he wants. And double 18 he gets. John Park
Marko Kantele.
couldn't watch.
8th leg is John to throw first.
So
Game on.
he's still in it, the man from Finland. 4-3.
I was going to say he's got to switch. The flights were hiding the
44.
the treble 20 up. And that's not the best of starts, so Kantele now. Real chance to get this throw back.
100.
John, you could see grimacing
78.
when he hit that single one. And Marko piles in with a ton 40.
$41.
Well, he kicked off with 6 great darts. He's got the throw over John Part, so Big John needs to find the treble 20. Should follow it up with another one. Surely beckoning for a 140.
100.
He'll be disappointed in that first dart. Absolutely perfect. I know every treble 20 should be perfect, but some of them, the way they lay in the board with the way the fin of the flight sits, the V of the flight points up. It's all to do
45.
with the next dart coming in. As we have it there, see the V of the flight is absolutely perfect. You need to lay it on that flight. It'll funnel down, but he's gone down. And a sensible thinking again from John. It's given him the dart of the double. We've hit one treble. The other way it would have been a dart at the bullseye instead of at the treble, at the double. Sorry.
125. John, you require 100.
Well, that certainly puts pressure on it. That 125 from Kantele, but 116 then for Part to go to within one leg of victory. Treble 20 would leave double 18, so it's not going to happen now. And Kantele had a chance
Marko,
to
50.
bring us all square at 4 apiece. 10 for double top is the way he's going. Back down to double 10.
Game shot on the 8th flag. Marko Kantele. 9th flag is Marko to throw first. Game on.
We didn't see the best of John Part in that leg. And let's put Kantele right back in this game. And you kind of felt at 4-2, you know, John weren't scoring that brilliant, but you thought, yeah, he's going to grind a result out here. And all of a sudden, as we talked about in the early part of the game, you give people like Kantele a chance. They're very experienced, been in the game a long time. And now he's the one with the confidence. And we see that, you know, one decent leg in leg 5. The rest of them, you know, pretty consistent. But
93.
You're not going to win tournaments with fibre legs.
Nothing to shout from the rooftops about.
$100.
But Kantele breaking to get us to 4 apiece, and certainly giving John Part a bit to think about here.
95.
Yeah, you can see the frustration in John Part's face there. Just pushing it, just pulling it, just tightening up of the arm. The release is not as fluent as it should be. The release on those 3 were very fluent though. And it looks like Kantele is going to go one leg away from what he'll put down as a great win.
And what a time
123.
to pick off your first 180 of the match. So potential 11 darter here. And double six now. And he gets it.
Shot on the 9th leg.
So
Marko Kantele
goes within one leg of victory. John has the throw here. But Kantele knows that even if John were to win this leg, he would have the throw in the 11th and deciding leg with the fin.
137.
Marko Kantele's rolled off 3 legs on the trot. And at 4-2 up, he'd have backed... Well, he wouldn't have backed Kantele to win it. You'd have certainly backed John Part to close the match out from there, as he's done so often, as you said, over 30 years. But, as I emphasise again, when you're not on the top of your form, you doubt yourself at times. Instead of just getting on and throwing the dart and meaning it, you kind of throw it and say, please go in.
100.
And that difference of mindset is all it takes from winning and losing.
100. 123.
So you would make John favourite to take this leg and send us to an 11th and deciding leg here.
140. John, you require 141.
Well, he's going to get 6 darts from here. May only need 3. Well, he sets it up absolutely beautiful. He's going to come back for 3 clear darts to take us to a decider. And a decider where Kantele will throw first.
140. John, you require 32.
So double 16 to send us into an 11th and deciding leg for the 3rd time this afternoon in this first round of the Austrian Open at the Salzburg Arena. And Kantele really needs to make the advantage count of throwing first, and
60.
Doesn't really do so there. Just 60.
Well, this is where John Part's got to put the first dart straight in the treble, has done, got to follow it up. And a little bit of meanness, a little bit of aggression in his face and his throw. That's what he's got to find all the time. Too many times you go to the board, as I said, you know, please go in. But them 3 darts, he threw them with venom. The dart goes straighter. Stays on course a lot better. He's got to keep that aggression in his throw. And you'll tell if John's aggressive in his facial expressions. Yeah, there you can see it. Although that was all over the place, that one.
44.
And you do sense Marko has had 2 poor visits in this deciding leg, whether the tension of getting so close to the finishing line is telling on him. And there's another visit without a treble.
Well, that's 9 darts, isn't it, in the last leg, and you've got the throw. You've just thrown the door well and truly wide open for John Part.
84. 28.
John's probably thinking, I can't believe me luck in this last leg. I mean, Kantele has played well to get himself to a decider, and John will be standing back there instead of kind of playing your own game. You're thinking, oh right, you know, happy days here, I've just got to stay straight. As I've said, you know, it stops you being aggressive. But he's going to get 6 darts at least from 137.
95. John, you require 137. 127.
Great attempt by Part. He wants double 5.
But he didn't want to split the 10s. And if Kantele can put a big score in here, he needs to find a treble though. A double 5.
54.
That's not enough.
John, you require 10.
The way John Part starts lays, he's got to go for it with the first dart.
Double 2 for the match. And he does it.
Shot on the match.
Well,
John Part.
you can see John Part, a relieved man there, pushed all the way by the qualifier from Finland. But John Part wins 6-5.